First up, let's remind ourselves that test 2 starts with dimensional analysis, and that's the process of converting from one set of units to another. Okay, the way we do that is first we write the two givens, where we start and where we're going to end, and then we kind of fill in the middle with conversion factors. Now, our goal with conversion factors is to cancel out the units, but each one of those factors should be equivalent on the top and bottom. In other words, 60 seconds is equivalent to 1 minute, so I can use it in the middle. 12 inches is equivalent to 1 foot, so I can use it in the middle as a conversion factor. First one is just to get us started here. We've got 27 minutes to seconds, 27 minutes to seconds. So in order to do that problem, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to write our given, what we start with, 27 minutes, and where we're headed. We're headed to seconds. So we're looking for the blank seconds. That's what we're trying to do. Now what we're going to try to do is connect those two ideas, minutes and seconds, those two units, using conversion factors. Now I want to cancel out minutes and I want to get seconds. Now I do know that I can put minutes on the bottom and that will cancel out the minutes. So what is equivalent to 1 minute in seconds? 60 seconds. Then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply straight across the top and bottom. And that will give us 1,620 seconds and 1 on the bottom. I want you to notice that the minutes on the top and the minutes on the bottom canceled out. So it's not 1 minute, it's just 1. It's just a number. The units canceled out because we had minutes on the top and bottom, which means since the minutes cancel out and we're just dividing by 1, we just end up with 1,620 seconds. And that's our answer to how many seconds there are in 27 minutes. To take a little bit bigger look, we're taking 12 weeks to blank minutes. So we're going to start writing out. What are we starting with? We're starting with 12 weeks. Where are we headed? We're headed to minutes. And so we're going to fill in the middle with our conversion factors. The first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to cancel out weeks with week. And so 1 week, how can we make that into minutes? I don't know how many minutes are in a week, but I can make it smaller. Minutes is getting smaller, so I want to make it smaller. What's smaller in a week? Days. There are 7 days in 1 week, so that's what I'm going to use for my conversion factor. Now, at this point, I want to connect days to minutes. Again, I don't really know how many minutes are in a day, but I do know I can keep making it a little bit smaller. So 1 day is 24 hours. And then finally, I can get to minutes because I can cancel out hours with minutes. So I know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. Now at this point, all three of these conversion factors in the middle are equivalent to 1. 7 days is equal to 1 week. They're the same on the top and bottom in value. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. And since the bottom is just 1, we don't really have to divide by 1. And so what we end up with is 120,960 minutes in 12 weeks. Notice that we wanted to put however we needed to do to cancel out our units. The only units left is the one we wanted to be left. Converting measurement, when we're talking about from metric to customary, we're going to want to use a conversion factor. So in this one, we've got a couple we can use. We're converting from 23 pounds to however many kilograms. Now, we have two conversion factors that they connect pounds and kilograms. You could use either one. We just want to use whichever one makes sense for the situation. Either one would work. We just want to make sure that if we're going to convert to kilograms, that means we want to cancel out pounds. So we're going to put the 1 pound on bottom. You could have put the 2.205 pounds. We could have used this one, but instead I just used the 1 pound on bottom. That way I'm just dividing by 1. And on the top, I'm going to have the kilograms. It tells me that. So I'm just putting my conversion factor right in there. We're going to multiply that. And guess what we get? We get 10.4328 kilograms over 1. Remember, pounds have canceled out. And so the reason I picked to put it over 1 is because now I can just say, boom, 10.43 kilograms is my answer. Converting the following temperatures from Fahrenheit to Celsius or vice versa is one of our basic skills that we need to do because we live in a world where some countries like the United States use Fahrenheit and some countries like Australia use Celsius. And so we need to be able to use either one of these formulas, but what we're just going to do is we're just going to plug them into those formulas to get the other thing. So if we have Celsius and we want Fahrenheit, we're going to plug it into the Fahrenheit formula. And if we have Fahrenheit, we're going to plug it into the Celsius formula. So for example, A would be C, the Celsius for A would be 25 degrees Fahrenheit minus 32 over 1.8. Now, if we're going to use something like C of negative 20, I want to convert that to Fahrenheit. So we're going to say Fahrenheit equals 1.8, and I have negative 20 for my Celsius plus 32. And that, whatever that calculates to, is going to end up being our answer. Let's look at another conversion one. Now, this one's a little involved, because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to take what we have, which is 1 liter and 23 kilometers. That's in our problem. But our problem actually also tells us another fact. It tells us that there's 125 or 1.25 euros per liter. So there's two facts that they give us. And what we're looking for when we have two facts like that, we're just going to treat them just like we would conversion factors. What we're trying to turn it into is dollars per 200 kilometers, okay? How many dollars would it take to go 200 kilometers? So let's see how we would go from liters and euros. Now, the nice thing is, since I already have two things, I put liters on bottom just so it cancels out, because I don't want liters in my answer. But if I just take that, I would end up with euros and kilometers. I want it in dollars, so I'm going to use my conversion factor for dollars and euros. 1 euro is 1.256 US dollars. So now I can cancel out my euros. And from there, I'm just going to multiply straight across. Now this time I didn't have just 1 on the bottom the whole time. I actually had 23 times 1 times 1. So at this point we get 1.57 US dollars is how much it would cost to go 23 kilometers. But I don't want to know how much it costs to go 23 kilometers. I want to know how much it costs to go 200 kilometers. So what we need to figure out is, what do we need to multiply 23 by to get 200? And so I just did the quick division here, and I ended up with 8.696. That's what I need to multiply by, because I just divided 200 by 23. That means I need to multiply it by 8.696 to get to 200. And then I would get the answer to my question. I want to know how many dollars for 200 kilometers. But in order to do that, I also need to multiply on the top and the bottom by the same amount. And so in addition to the kilometers being multiplied by 8.696, the dollars are also multiplied by 8.696, which means our final answer on this one is $14.08. Convert to Fahrenheit. This is another convert to Fahrenheit. They have a slightly different formula. It's just written differently, but it's really the actual same formula if we were to move things around. This one actually gives us Celsius, and we want to convert to Fahrenheit, so we're going to use the Fahrenheit formula. Fahrenheit equals 9 over 5 times Celsius. In this case, we got negative 50 plus 32. And from here, we can go ahead and do a little bit of math, and I get negative 50, and that would be negative 90 plus 32. And so I get Fahrenheit for negative 50 Celsius is negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Scale ratios for maps, they usually tell us 1 centimeter to 1 kilometer, whatever. You'll see it written on a map that we say, well, 1 centimeter on the map represents 100 kilometers. But a scale ratio should be written, or could be written, without units at all, okay? And the way we do that, and the way we create a scale ratio, is we convert both of them to the same unit. So 1 centimeter and 100 kilometers, if I wanted to convert them to the same unit, I could convert them both into meters. So 1 centimeter is not as big as 1 meter, right? They're different. A centimeter is smaller. In fact, I'd have to divide by 100. And so I get 0.01 meters is 1 centimeter. 100 kilometers That's more than a meter. So it's not just 100 meters, it's 100,000 meters. 100 kilometers, each kilometer is 1,000 meters, so that's 100,000 meters. Now, so what is our ratio? When we have these two, I would prefer it to be the ratio of 1 to something. So I want the first number to be a 1. Right now, the first number is not a 1 because it's 0.01. What do I need to multiply by? I'm going to multiply by 100, which means I'm also going to multiply by 100 on the other one. So it's 1 to a 10 million ratio. So everything has been shrunk down. 10 million is shrunk down to just 1. So 10 million centimeters is shrunk down to just 1 centimeter, or 10 million meters is shrunk down to just 1 meter. Let's look at another one. This one is a little bit less of a crazy scale. We have 1 centimeter and 50 meters. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to convert this into the same thing. Since this is already in centimeters and it's already 1, I'm going to try to convert this one to centimeters. Okay, so how many centimeters are in each meter? Well, there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So in 50 meters, I'm going to do 50 times 100. So there's 5,000 centimeters in 50 meters. And so our ratio here is 1 to 5,000. Okay, so what we're saying is the scale is 1/5000th.